party filled the hallway with 100 moving sounds. I smiled through every question while my thoughts were spinning round. You noticed from across the room before I said a word. You brought my coat and found the keys and led me to the curb. You never made a scene of it, never asked me to explain. You turned the car toward the river as the city blurred with rain. You took the long way home so I could gather up my mind past every crowded avenue and left the noise behind. You took the long way home with one hand resting next to mine. You gave me 20 extra miles and all the room I needed inside. Round the river, past the signs, you kept driving till I felt like I was mine. The dashboard glowed in amber while the wipers marked the beat. You changed the station lower and turned away from crowded streets. We stopped beside the water where the bridges crossed the dark. You handed me your jacket and waited while I watched. I didn't have to dress it up or make the story clear. You understood the difference between being lost and overwhelmed. You took the long way home so I could gather up my mind past every crowded avenue and left the noise behind. You took the long way home with one hand resting next to mine. You gave me 20 extra miles and all the room I needed inside. You never treated my bad evening like a problem to repair. You simply changed our destination and made room for me there. Love was not a great confession written underneath the stars. It was choosing slower streets when you saw I'd gone too far. Red lights in the distance, rain running down the glass. Your fingers tapped the steering wheel and let the moment pass. I found my voice near sunrise, said the day had worn me thin. You nodded like you knew already and drove the final mile again. You took the long way home and brought me back without a map. Not to the house behind the gate, but to the self I thought I lost. You took the long way home. One morning gathered in the sky. You never asked me to be better. You just drove there by my side. The engine cooled beneath the trees. We watched the new day start. You gave me 20 extra miles and handed back my heart. Saturday beneath the store lights, 10:30 and running late. You were choosing something simple, I was staring at the labels. Every voice became a siren, every color moved too fast. I gripped the handle of the card and tried to make the moment pass. You saw the change before I spoke, set the basket to the side, left the list and all the groceries, and walked with me outside. You left the card in aisle 9, like nothing there was worth more time. You chose a person in front of you over everything we came to do. You left the card in aisle 9, sat beside me under the sign. You never asked me to perform, you only held me through the storm. The milk could wait, the bread could wait. You showed me love could change its plans. Cars moved through the parking lot, their headlights crossed the ground. You gave me water from your bag and kept the whole world out. I said that I was sorry for turning errands into this. You shook your head and told me there was nothing I had ruined. You didn't count the minutes, you didn't check the time. You watched the tension leave my hands before you reached for mine. You left the card in aisle 9, like nothing there was worth more time. You chose the person in front of you over everything we came to do. You left the card in aisle 9, sat beside me under the sign. You never asked me to perform, you only helped me through the storm. I learned love from grand occasions, from candles, rings, and crowded rooms. Then you taught me something greater, beside a row of shopping carts. Love can drop what it is carrying, love can leave a plan unfinished. Love can see a frightened person and decide that they come first. The store was closing behind us, workers gathered what we left. You bought 2 drinks from the machine and placed one in my hand. We never finished shopping, we ordered noodles on the way. And somehow that abandoned cart still tells me everything today. You left the card in aisle 9 and changed the meaning of that night. You showed me I could fall apart without becoming hard to love. You left the card in aisle 9 and never made my fear a crime. You chose me without hesitation, that is my favorite declaration. The list was lost, the shelves grew dark, but something lasting found my heart. date was on the calendar. I tried not to look all week. I filled the hours with errands, so the past could not reach me. When I came into the kitchen, there was flour on your sleeve and a faded card beside you, covered in a handwriting. You never got to meet her, still you studied every line. You called my sister twice that afternoon to make the seasoning right. You learned her recipe so I wouldn't face that day alone. You brought a piece of where I came from into the life we're building now. You learned her recipe, though I never asked you to. And every flavor at that table told me how deeply you knew. You read the faded letters, you measured every part, then served an old remembrance with the care inside your heart. The first bite took me backward to a house that's not there now. Sunday plates and open windows, and her singing much too loud. My eyes fell to the table when the memories arrived. You didn't turn the moment brighter, you let both worlds sit side by side. You didn't call my sorrow weakness or ask me to explain. You passed the bowl across the table and said her name again. You learned her recipe so I wouldn't face that day alone. You brought a piece of where I came from into the life we're building now. You learned her recipe, though I never asked you to. And every flavor at that table told me how deeply you knew. Love is not erasing grief or finding words that make it small. Sometimes love prepares the table and welcomes every part of all. You could not change the empties or give me one more afternoon, but you honored who I carried and made a place for her there too. A card beside the serving dish, your handwriting underneath, a note about the missing spice and what it meant to me. I looked across and saw you trying not to watch me cry. Then I reached across the table and placed my hand inside of yours. You learned her recipe and something in me came undone. Not from losing her again, but from seeing what your love had done. You learned her recipe, now the card belongs to two. Her memory filled the kitchen and my future looked like you. We packed the extra portions and washed the plates past two. You never got to meet her, but I know she'd have loved you. The letter came on Tuesday with my name typed out in blue. I knew before I opened it what the words were gonna do. Months of early mornings, every promise I had made collapsed into 3 sentences and one polite phrase. I pushed it beneath the magazines and said the week was fine. You saw the corner of the envelope, but gave me room to find my time. You saved the blue envelope when I nearly tore it through. Placed it in the wooden drawer beside the things I once outgrew. You saved the blue envelope not to keep the hurt alive. You said one closed door on paper could never measure all of mine. One page could not define me, one answer could not choose the person I would become, or everything I still could do. You made 2 bowls of noodles and brought them to the floor. We ate beside the coffee table with our backs against the door. I finally read the ending with my voice reduced to air. You listened to each sentence like my disappointment mattered there. I expected you to brighten it or build a better view. Instead you let the evening be as difficult as it was true. You saved the blue envelope when I nearly tore it through. Placed it in the wooden drawer beside the things I once outgrew. You saved the blue envelope not to keep the hurt alive. You said one closed door on paper could never measure all of mine. Another chance to try. I froze above the final box and almost passed it by. You turned the laptop toward me, then returned to what you read. You never pushed my hand to move, you trusted it instead. The cursor blinked for 7 minutes before I pressed submit. You raised your glass across the room and smiled a little bit. That gesture held no guarantees, no promise I would win. It only said the world could close and I could still begin. You saved the blue envelope, now it rests beneath the new, a record of the day I learned rejection was not truth. You saved the blue envelope, and years from now I'll see you love me through the version who had lost belief in me. The drawer holds many papers now, contracts, notes, and photographs, but that blue envelope reminds me you you believed beyond the facts. My name was called at 7 under rows of ceiling lights. I walked onto the wooden floor and lost my open line. The judges turned their papers. Someone checked the hallway clock. I finished what I could remember, then left before they talked. I expected empty pavement when I reached the avenue, but underneath the red exit sign I saw the shape of you. You waited by the stage door with 2 paper cups in hand. You never asked how well I did or whether they would understand. You waited by the stage door while the rain crossed through the street. And when I said I'd failed myself, you said, "Come walk with me." Past the posters, past the crowd, you let me lose the brave face I had carried all day long. We crossed beneath the theater lights and found a diner near the train. I pulled the folded script apart and circled every mistake. You turned the pages over and slid them from my side. You asked me what I wanted before the fear arrived. I said I missed the version who believed she had a chance. You pointed through the window with my reflection in the glass. You waited by the stage door with 2 paper cups in hand. You never asked how well I did or whether they would understand. You waited by the stage door while the rain crossed through the street. And when I said I'd failed myself, you said, "Come walk with me." The both of us knew went wrong. You didn't turn a disappointment into some inspirational song. You treated one bad evening like a bruise instead of fate, and gave me back tomorrow without telling me to change. The diner closed around us, chairs lifted from the floor. I found one final page that I had never read before. You stood beneath the awning as I spoke the lines outside. This time I reached the ending with your eyes meeting mine. You waited by the stage door when I couldn't face the street. You loved the one who missed her cue, not only who she hope to be. You waited by the stage door, and that mattered more than praise. The room had turned me into doubt. You called me by my name. Months later, when they called again, I walked beneath the sign and found you by the same red door. 2 paper cups, right on time. The movers came on Thursday with their tape and rolling carts. I stood inside the hallway where I learned my earliest words. My father's coat was hanging like he might return at 5. I reached up for the wooden hook, then froze beneath its weight. You found a marker in the drawer and wrote across the first brown side. Not old things are to be sorted, you wrote keep close and careful lines. You labeled every box like every piece deserved a name. The photographs, the chip blue cups, the records covered up in dust. You labeled every box and made the leaving feel less cruel. You treated all my history like something worth carrying through. Kitchen stories went to close, letters tied with faded rope. You gave each piece a destination when I could barely let it go. We found a stack of birthday cards behind the cabinet downstairs, a school report, a broken watch, and coins from county fairs. I laughed until one envelope brought back a voice I couldn't place. You sat beside the open carton while the years crossed through my face. The movers called from down the hall and asked which pile should leave. You pointed toward the other side and gave that moment back to me. You labeled every box like every piece deserved a name. The photographs, the chip blue cups, the records covered up in dust. You labeled every box and made the leaving feel less cruel. You treated all my history like something worth carrying through. Pull me forward and forbid me to look back. You showed me moving onward doesn't mean abandoning the past. You carried down the fragile things and let me choose the final load, then place the house key in my palm until I chose to close the door. Blue tape for the kitchen, green tape for the den, one box marked open first for when we reach the other end. Inside you packed my father's mark, the blanket from my childhood bed, and underneath the folded cloth, a note in your handwriting dismiss a place completely and still build somewhere new. I read it on the apartment floor with my shoulder touching you. You labeled every box and turned departure into care. Every object crossed the distance because you knew why it was there. You labeled every box but left one carton without words for all the things I couldn't name and all the feelings still unheard. The cardboard disappeared by spring. The shelves became our home, but I kept one strip of blue tape from the day you helped me home. After the collision, I still avoided every key. The driver's seat felt miles away, though it weighed in next to me. You found a vacant parking lot behind the hardware store, drew 2 lanes with orange cones and opened up my door. You never touched the dashboard or watch the clock above. You let me circle 7 times at whatever speed I chose. On Sundays in the empty light, you taught my hands the wheel, not by telling me to conquer everything I couldn't feel. On Sundays in the empty light, you rode each turn with me, and every painted parking lot became another piece of freedom. Round the corner, through the lane, back it up and start again. You made progress out of inches till the road became a road again. The first week I reached 20, then pulled over by the gate. You passed me half a sandwich and never called it late. The second week it started raining. I expected us to leave. You switched the wipers on for me and waited in the passenger seat. You never called me fragile or compared me to before. You treated every tiny mile like something worth recording. On Sundays in the empty light, you taught my hands the wheel, not by telling me to conquer everything I couldn't feel. On Sundays in the empty light, you rode each turn with me, and every painted parking lot became another piece of freedom. With the windows halfway down, I froze beneath the traffic light while cars gathered all around. Ooh, you pointed toward the green ahead and said, take all the time you've got. I crossed before it changed again and laughed beyond the block. A paper cup between us, 2 helmets moments in a shop, a faded row of orange cones behind an empty lot. I once believed that courage had to arrive complete. You showed me it could enter, one careful turn at a time. On Sundays in the empty lot, I found my way behind the wheel. You never drove the road for me, you helped me make it real. On Sundays in the empty lot, the fear released its claim. And when I drove us home that night, you let me choose the way. Now every Sunday afternoon, we pass that hardware store. I tap the wheel and think about the person I was before. You never carried me across, you taught me how to steer. And every road I travel now still holds a little of that here. The engine quit near mile 18, beyond the final exit sign. I guided us onto the shoulder with the highway rushing by. My father taught me basic repairs when I was barely 17, but years had covered every lesson, and fear got in between. I opened up the metal hood and stared into the wires. You found the flashlight in the trunk, then stood beside the tire. You held the flashlight, kept the beam upon my hands, while I searched beneath the engine for the part I understood. You held the flashlight and trusted what I knew. You didn't take the work away, you helped me follow through. One loose cable, one small spark, your steady beam against the dark. You saw the strength I had forgotten before I saw it too. A truck went roaring past us and shook the gravel underneath. I dropped the wrench beside the wheel and nearly lost belief. You picked it from the roadside, placed it gently in my palm, and read the faded manual while I worked beneath the hood. I traced the line toward the battery and found the damaged lead. You turned the page and held the lights exactly where I said. You held the flashlight, kept the beam upon my hands, while I searched beneath the engine for the part I understood. Ooh, you held the flashlight and trusted what I knew. You didn't take the work away, terminal, then climbed behind the wheel. The starter turned once slowly, then the engine caught for real. I shouted through the open door, "You raised the light above." And somewhere on that roadside I understood your kind of love. You held the flashlight while I brought the engine back. You made believe feel practical beside an empty stretch of black. You held the flashlight and let the victory be mine. You didn't carry me to safety, you helped me recognize the signs. One loose cable, one repaired line, your faith beside me, in both hands mine. You saw the road inside me before the headlights came alive. We reached the city after 3, with grease across my sleeve. The flashlight rested by your feet, and pride returned to me. The invitation sat open beside the bedroom lamp, my name beneath the headline. For the first time in that font, I pulled the green dress from the closet, the one I bought last spring. Then the seam split near the shoulder as I tried to fasten it. I dropped it on the carpet, said the whole night had gone wrong. You picked it up by both sleeves and asked where the thread belonged. You put stitches in the green dress at the edge of our old bed, learning every loop and crossing from a video you played again. You put stitches in the green dress while I doubted every plan. By sunrise it was ready, and so was I to take my chance. Thread through the needle, needle through the cloth. You repaired one broken seam while I repaired the way I thought. Your fingers moved unevenly, the first few tries were loose. You laughed and started over with the patience of a fool. I sat there reading questions from the interviewer's page. Each answer sounded smaller every time I reached my name. You turned the dress toward the lamp, checked the line from end to end, then said, wear it like you chose it, not like you need their confidence. You put stitches in the green dress at the edge of our old bed, learning every loop and crossing from a video you played again. You put stitches in the green dress while I doubted every plan. By sunrise it was ready, and so was I to take my chance. 3 days later, near the mailbox, I opened their reply. You watched my expression change before I read the final line. I crossed the room still wearing the dress from the interview. The scene remained completely firm as I wrapped my arms around you. You put stitches in the green dress, and the backbone in my voice. You turned a small disaster into proof that I had choices. You put stitches in the green dress, now it hangs beside the door, a record of the night. Your hands prepared me for much more. Thread through the needle, needle through the cloth. One repaired line reminded me I had never been written off. Years may fade the fabric and loosen every thread, but I remember how you worked while fear circled the bed. The ballroom smelled of roses, silver glasses filled the rows. My sister's name was printed on the card beneath the bow. I carried 7 pages full of sentences rehearsed. Then the microphone was tested and I couldn't read a word. I found you by the service hall behind the kitchen doors. You took the shaking papers and sat down on the floor. You wrote the speech on a receipt in 5 small lines of ink. Her first bike, our father's records, the summer by the sea. You wrote the speech on a receipt and placed it in my palm. You turned a room of watching faces into people I had known. 5 lines, 1 folded page, your handwriting beside my name. You gave my scattered thoughts a shape that I could carry. The music started upstairs while the waiters crossed the hall. You asked me for the story I remembered most of all. I spoke about 2 sisters building castles out of sheets. You crossed out every grand expression and kept what sounded like me. The coordinator called my name, the doors began to move. You straightened out my collar and handed back the truth. You wrote the speech on a receipt in 5 small lines of ink. Her first bike, our father's records, the summer by the sea. You wrote the speech on a receipt and placed it in my palm. You turned a room of watching faces into people I had known. Halfway through the second sentence, my voice called on her name. I looked beyond the flowers stands and found you near the frame. You touched 2 fingers to your chest, the signal we designed. I skipped the polished paragraph and spoke what came to mind. I told her she was fearless long before she wore the white. How she held my hand through schoolyards and defended every fight. The guests began to laugh, then several people cried. I reached the final sentence with the receipt still at my side. You wrote the speech on a receipt, but gave me more than words. You helped me trust the honest parts before they could be heard. You wrote the speech on a receipt that now lives in a frame. 5 crooked lines from one long night that taught me not to hide my name. 5 lines, 1 folded page, your handwriting beside my name. You didn't speak before the room, but every word still carried you. The tables cleared near midnight, the flowers left in cards. My sister kept the printed speech, I kept the ink that got me through. My first week on the night shift changed the hours in my head. I watched the city closing while the rest of town went to bed. I came home after sunrise, still carrying voices from work. My shoes were wet from pavement, and my coffee stained my shirt. You had moved the bedroom curtains so the daylight wouldn't reach. Left the glass beside the pillow and my phone beyond the sheets. You learned my night shift, turned your hours upside down, made a life between the evenings when our friends were leaving town. Found the shape of something new. Love became the little changes nobody else could see but you. 6:10 at the doorway, keys dropped in the tray. Your world was just beginning, his mind was ending for the day. On Friday I came home shaking after 1 call went too far. I sat down in the hallway with my back against the wall. You brought the blanket from the bedroom and lowered every screen, placed your headphones on the table and sat across from me. I couldn't tell the whole thing, the details wouldn't come, so you opened up the crossword and read the clues one by one. 5 letters for a shelter, 4 letters for a vow. I couldn't solve the answers, but I felt grounded somehow. You learned my night shift, turned your hours upside down, made a life between the evenings when our friends were leaving town. You learned my night shift, found the shape of something new. Love became the little changes nobody else could see but you. By winter we had rituals, breakfast served at 6:30. You call the evening morning just to make the language fit. We watched one episode together before I closed my eyes. You saved the final scene for later, so we'd finish side by side. The calendar looked unusual, our weekend started late, but every hour we borrowed became something we had made. You didn't ask the clock for fairness or complain about the strain. You built a bridge across the hours until we met halfway. Some people promise constellations, right forever in the sky. You changed the timer on the heater and kept the hallway light outside. 6:10 at the doorway, your hand around my wrist, one crossword on the carpet, 2 lives learning how to fit. The job would change eventually, the schedule wouldn't last, but I would keep the way you loved me when our days were running past. You learned my night shift till the strange became my own. Made a home inside the hours most people never know. You learned my night shift, not with speeches or display. You rearranged 1,000 details, so I had somewhere safe to land. 6:10 at the doorway, keys dropped in the tray. You kissed my tired forehead and carried on your day. Years later when I wake beside you with the sunlight in the room, I still remember those reverse days and everything you chose to do. The ticket said row 20 in the theater packed wall to wall. I watched the people gather and felt my focus start to fall. You noticed how I studied every doorway in the place, then traded both our center seats for 2 beside the passageway. You handed me the ticket stub and pointed toward the exit sign, like leaving for a minute could be part of having a good time. You saved the aisle seat and left an open way, so I could choose the distance any second of the day. Without turning it into shame, you made room for every version of the person that I came as. One chair by the passage, one hand beside my own. You made a crowded building feel like somewhere I belonged. The orchestra grew louder as the curtain climbed above. 100 voices filled the air and pressed against my thoughts. I tapped your wrist at intermission before the final note was done. You gathered both our jackets and followed me into the hall. We stood beside saved the aisle seat and left an open way, so I could choose the distance any second of the day. You saved the aisle seat without turning it into shame. You made room for every version of the person that I came as. A piece of dialogue but caught the final scene. I expected you to mention everything we didn't see. Instead you bought the program and circled next month's date, then drew a little arrow to the seats beside the gate. I had known affection that required a polished face, that praised me for enduring what I never chose to take. You showed me consideration could be practical and plain, a different pair of tickets and a doorway within range. The crowd poured toward the staircase, we waited by the wall. Your thumb traced the printed numbers on the program that we bought. I said thank you for not asking why the room became too much. You answered, I came here with you, not the building or the show. You saved the aisle seat, and something shifted there. Love became a clear direction and permission to take care. You saved the aisle seat, now I understand the choice. You never asked me to endure before you listened to my voice. One chair by the passage, one path beneath the sign. You gave me back the evening without asking me to hide. The ticket stub is in the drawer beside the program from that night. Next month we chose the same two seats and watched the whole performance twice. I signed up for the evening class above the old arcade, bought a set of borrowed brushes and pretended not to shake. The teacher placed a bowl of pears beneath a hanging lamp. Mine leaned sideways on the paper like the table couldn't stand. I carried it home face down, ready for the trash. You lifted one loose corner before I reached the match. You hung the crooked canvas above the kitchen chair, not because it was a masterpiece, but because I made it there. You hung the crooked canvas where everybody could see, and somehow all those uneven lines started looking brave to me. One bent table, three strange pairs, a little courage hanging there. You gave my first imperfect try a place inside our lives. The following Tuesday evening I returned before the rain mixed the colors far too quickly and got yellow on my sleeve. By winter there were city roofs and portraits without eyes, 100 failed experiments stacked unevenly inside. You never called them brilliant, just to make me feel okay. You asked me what I wanted from the color and the shape. You hung the crooked canvas above the kitchen chair, not because it was a masterpiece, but because I made it there. You hung the crooked canvas where everybody could see, and somehow all those uneven lines started looking brave to me. The gallery sent an answer after months without a word. They chose the piece with red rooftops and the woman feeding birds. I ran home with the letter, expecting some parade. You pointed to the first one and said, "That's where this began." Paint stains on the counter, frames against the wall. Every finished picture owed something to that first fall. I used to think that talent meant never looking lost. Now I know creation starts before you know the cause. You hung the crooked canvas before the world knew my name. You valued what was growing long before the praise arrived. You hung the crooked canvas and it still remains with me, the clumsy little evidence of who I dare to be. One bent table, three strange pairs, the start of something hanging there. You loved the hands that made the work before they learned their way. The colors have gone now, the wooden frame has bowed, but every time I pass it, I still feel quietly proud. My laptop froze at midnight, with the deadline drawing near. 40 pages disappeared after half a working year. I stared at the blank screen while the clock moved past 2, already writing my surrender before I looked at you. You grabbed your coat and car keys, searched every place in town, then found a 24-hour shop 3 neighborhoods away. You found a printer at 3 a.m. when every plan had come apart. You carried boxes through the rain while I rebuilt the missing parts. You found a printer unfinished dream, like something worth the drive. Black ink, white pages, street lamps, empty lanes. You made a road through one bad night without pretending it was easy. The clerk unlocked the side door and switched the ceiling lights. You spread my notes across the counter, then numbered every file. I kept deleting paragraphs, convinced they made no sense. You read them from the plastic chair and marked the strongest ones. You didn't call each sentence perfect or praise what wasn't good. You helped me see the work itself instead of only what I feared. You found a printer at 3 a.m. when every plan had come apart. You carried boxes through the rain while I rebuilt the missing parts. You found a printer at 3 a.m. and never spoke of sacrifice. You treated my unfinished dream like something worth the drive. The pages started sliding from the tray. You checked the order twice, then brushed the paper dust away. We bound the final copy with the cover slightly bent. You drew a tiny star inside before the package left. The office opened just past 8. I reached it with a minute left. My hands still smelled of printer ink. My clothes were barely dry. They asked me how I finished after everything went wrong. I almost told them skill and discipline, but that was not the whole response. One receipt inside your pocket, one coffee going cold, 40 pages on the counter and your jacket on my shoulders. I learned devotion sometimes looks like searching unfamiliar streets for fluorescent lights and paper when the city is asleep. You found a printer at 3 a.m. and carried what I couldn't hold. You gave my work another morning before the night could close. Ooh, you found a printer at 3 a.m. Now every printed line reminds you saw a future in those pages when I could only see goodbye. Black ink, white pages, sunrise, window frames. The dream was mine to finish, but you helped it reach the day. The project sits upon our shelf beside the photograph we framed, but I kept that faded receipt with the hour and the place. The painted sign was hanging by a single silver chain. The boxes filled the entrance, and the forecast promised rain. My name was on the front glass, larger than it ever been. I stared at every letter and forgot why I began. The clock above the register said 12 minutes till the doors. I reached to turn the lights back off. You stepped across the floor 12 minutes before opening. You rolled your sleeves above your hands, put the crooked sign together, while I tried to find my plans. 12 minutes before opening, you placed the key inside my palm, said they don't need a perfect owner, they just need to know you're here. 12 minutes, one loose chain, boxes leaning against the frame. You turned a room of unfinished things into the start I came to make. You stacked the cups behind the counter, fixed the numbers on the board, found the missing extension cable underneath the storage door. I read the menu 3 times over, certain every price was wrong. You circled one misspelled word, then told me to move along. A woman waited by the entrance with a daughter dressed in red. You nodded toward the doorway, and I raised the latch instead. 12 minutes before opening, you rolled your sleeves above your hands, put the crooked sign together, while I tried to find my plans. 12 minutes before opening, you placed the key inside my palm, said they don't need a perfect owner, they just need to know you're here. The first cup spilled at 9:15. The card machine declined. The tray of glasses hit the floor before the morning reached its height. I looked across the crowded room, expecting you to intervene. You handed me the broom and smiled like I could handle everything. By closing time, the chairs were full, the shelves were nearly bare. Someone wrote a glowing message on the board beside the stairs. I found you near the entrance with a screwdriver and chain. The sign was hanging level now above my painted name. One receipt from my first customer, one stain across my sleeve, one photograph behind the counter of the moment I received the key from your open fingers and the courage to begin. You never opened up the doors, you helped me walk through them. 12 minutes before opening, I almost gave the day away. You repaired what could be mended, then trusted me with what remained. 12 minutes before opening, you never promised I would win. You simply placed the key back in my hand and watched me turn it in. 12 minutes, one repaired chain, my reflection behind my name. You didn't build a dream for me, you helped me claim the one I made. The sign still hangs above the glass, though newer paint has filled the room. And every morning when I turn the key, I think of what you chose.